Hello, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Chris Knott, and I'm a senior engineer here at IceWarp. Today we'll be doing a demonstration on how to set up and use personal certificates to secure your email. The examples I'll be using today are Outlook and webmail. So I'll be showing how to send and receive the encrypted and signed mail between those two clients, and also how to create that personal certificate and get it into webmail and Outlook. Some of the advantages of using personal certificates are email integrity. And what this means is the person receiving your message knows the recipient and the sender are both valid. You know it's not a spoofed or forged message from of any type. So right there gives that message integrity that it is exactly coming from the person it states it's coming from, and it rules out all other spoofing, phishing emails that you might receive under a account name matching that sender. Obviously, sensitive information is another reason why email certificates should be used by users. It makes sure that when you send this message in transit, regardless of the actual security of the server, if they're doing SSL between the client and the server, it ensures that you're always protected and that the content and the information in your message can only be read by the intended recipient. And as I said, server security is another one. So you are protecting yourself even if the administrator of your server is not. And what it also allows you to do is have peace of mind that if someone were to get on to the server or any location that that message might be stored at, so maybe it gets sent to an archiving service and someone is able to get into that server, or any location that that message might move through in transit and stay, you have the peace of mind knowing that from this point forward, once you've encrypted that message, that only the intended recipient or someone that somehow gets a hold of your private key, public side key, is able to decrypt that message. So it protects you basically 99% of the time. When dealing with security, there's always going to be that small fraction of percent that if that scenario were to take place, then it possibly could result in someone reading the message. So if someone were somehow to get your certificate, then you could end up with a cracked certificate. As I said, that's not common. In fact, I've never heard of it happening. If you look through the web, it's not very easy to find email statistics squarely based on secure email, unless you maybe are a member of Forrester and have some of that research that they will do for you. What I found, and some of this is dated going back to 2007 up to 2009, but it still holds true, and really we can assume that it's actually gotten worse, not better. But in 2007, a study conducted by Forrester said that nearly 1 in every 5 outgoing messages contains content that poses a legal, financial, or regulatory risk. So this obviously means people are sending 1 out of every 5 messages has something that could be potentially harmful to them in their business or their practice, whatever they might be doing. 44% of surveyed companies said that within a 12-month period, they investigated a suspected email leak of confidential or proprietary information. 23% of surveyed U.S. companies said that their business was impacted by exposing some of this sensitive or embarrassing information through email. 26% of surveyed U.S. companies terminated an employee for violating email policies in the course of 12 months. 57% of surveyed U.S. companies said that it is important or very important for reducing the financial and legal risks associated with outbound email. So basically, from this point forward, I'm going to show you how we've actually made the process a little easier for users to create and import these certificates using webmail, and then also into Outlook and some of the other email clients that you might be used to using. So I'm going to start with the actual process of getting and generating your certificate. And at this point, if you've joined us for any of the other webinars on SSL, you know that we are now a certificate authority. So you can actually purchase these certificates through us And we'll do that now, just go through the initial process. If you go to the purchase, or from the home page, you'll see there's now an SSL certificate purchase wizard. And once this launches, you'll see the first item is a personal ID. It's also referred to as an SMIME certificate or a personal encryption certificate. So it goes by many different names, but in some circles just referred to as an SSL certificate for your personal email. If you were to do it through IceWarp, you just place the radio button in SMIME certificate, click Next. And all it's going to do is ask you, when you're doing the email portion for the email certificate, just your email, your first name, your last name, and so on. The one thing to keep in mind here, just like any other server certificate or SSL certificate in general, there is going to be a challenge password, and this is going to need to be remembered after you supply it in the web form, because when you come to collect this certificate, it is going to ask you for this password. So once this is done, you specify the payment method, and that is it. It'll then go through, get approved, and be generated. Once it's generated and sent back to you, you'll receive an email. Let me go to a box that has it. You'll get just a confirmation email from IceWarp saying that your order was received and will be processed. The next step is getting the collection for this certificate. And as you can see, you can download the certificate here. So once we click here, you can enter the password. Now, as I said, this is going to be the password that you set for the challenge in that web form. So I've already created this certificate, so I'll just go ahead and submit the query again. And what it will do is automatically install this certificate into your browser. So this is common practice. And now for any certificate, you can go into Options. In this case, we're using Firefox. We can go to Options, Advanced, Encryption tab to view the certificates. So as you can see, the account I created that certificate for was secure at icewarp.com. And I see that here. Now, to get this into any other client and out of your browser, you can just back up, create a file name for it, and it's going to export this into the PKCS12 format. And it's just going to save. Now, here you will have to generate another password for this certificate. So once you specify this password, anything that you would like, obviously the strength, it gives you a quality meter of that password for how strong or weak it might be. In this example, I'm just using a pretty weak password. And so, okay. Now, what it will tell you is it successfully backed up your certificate along with the private key. So that's very important.